Good morning, students. In this video, we are going to learn the distribution of electrons in the shells. It means that there is a capacity of electrons in a particular shell, that is limit of the electrons in a shell. So we are going to see what's the limit of electrons in a particular shell. In our previous video, we have learned that there are 4 shells, K, L, M, N shell. So, let us see our video. Now, we know that in the center of an atom there is a nucleus and the electrons revolve in a particular shells. You can see in the picture. So, it is also known as energy level. The shells are also called as energy level or discrete orbits. So, we are going to see the capacity of electrons in a particular shell. Now, have a look at this picture. You can see the center. There is a positively charged nucleus, and there is after a nucleus there is a shell which is known as K shell, that is at the number 1. So, we are going to see the formula by which we can find out the number of electrons in the first shell. So, we have the formula 2n square. So, we are going to apply this formula and we are going to find out our number of electrons. So, 2 into n. N is a number of shell. So, if we are taking first shell, we will write 1. If we are taking second shell, we will write 2. If we are taking third shell, we are going to write 3. And if we are taking fourth shell, we are going to write 4. So, for the first shell, 2n square. So, let us substitute n is equals to 1. So, instead of n, we are going to put 1. So, we will get the answer 2 into 1 square. So, 2 into 1 square is 1. 2 into 1. So, we will get answer 2. 2 ones are 2. So, the limit of electrons in the first shell is 2. So, only 2 electrons can come in the first shell, can accommodate in the first shell. Now, let us see for the second shell. So, again we are going to see the same formula 2n square, but instead of n we are going to write 2 because we are going to find out the maximum capacity of electron for the second shell. So, 2 into n square. So, 2 into 2 square. So, 2 square is equals to 4. So, 2 into 4 we will get the answer 8. So, the capacity of second shell is 8, or we can say L shell. First shell is K shell, second shell is L shell. Now we are going to find out for the third shell. So again 2n square is equals to 2 into 3 square. So 2 into 3 square is 9. So 2 9s are 18. So for the L shell, the number of electrons are 18. And for the fourth shell, 2n square is equals to 2 into 4 square. So 4 square is 16. So 2 into 16 is equals to 32. So 2, 8, 18 and 32 are the limits of electrons in a particular shell. I hope this thing is clear to you all. Now we will understand parts and working of nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactor is a modern method extensively used for power generation as the traditional fossil fuel like coal are on the verge of extinction. A nuclear reactor is a source of intense heat which is in turn used for the generation of power in the nuclear power station. Its mechanism is similar to the furnace in a steam generator. The steam is used to drive the turbines of the electric generator system. A nuclear reactor consists of 3 components: fuel elements, moderator and control rods. Fuel elements are usually in the shape of thin rods of about 1 cm in diameter and contains fissionable nuclei like uranium-235 or uranium-238. These rods vary in number according to the size of the reactor. In large power reactors, thousands of power reactors are placed closer to each other. These fuel elements are normally immersed in water, which acts as a moderator. The objective of the moderator is to slow down the energy neutrons in the nuclear reaction, which are produced during the nuclear fission process by the fuel elements. Thermoneutrons, which are the neutrons of energy of about 0.04 electron volts, are capable of producing fission reaction with uranium 235. In the nuclear fission process, new neutrons are given out which have energies of about 1 mega electron volt. This is 1 mega electron volts. These neutron typically escapes from another fission process as they are accompanied by energy release. In fact, the probability of these neutrons produce another fission reaction is 500 times vast as compared to that of neutrons. This is where moderator is extremely useful. Moderators have the capability to slow down, or in other words, to moderate the speed of high energy neutrons so that in turn they can be used as chain reaction to trigger the multiple fission reactions of other uranium 235 nuclei. Commonly, ordinary or heavy water is used as a moderator in the nuclear reactor because of the neutrons present in them are capable of slowing down the speed. Water molecules in the moderator are used for slowing down the high energy neutrons, which eliminates the few elements after the nuclear fission. These high energy neutrons collide with water molecules and thereby lose some energy with every collision, and therefore slowing down the reaction. A new nuclear fission reaction now can be triggered using slow neutrons by striking it with the fuel elements. The thick and most important part in the nuclear reactor are the control rods. In order to steady the energy of nuclear reaction, every single fission reaction can trigger the another fission reaction and ensure the availability of neutrons with these two nuclear chain reactions. By controlling the number of neutrons at any given time, the rate of nuclear fission in a chain reactions can be controlled. This control on the fission reaction can be maintained using control rods. The main function of the control rod is to absorb any excess or spare neutrons in the moderator in order to prevent any further fission reaction. Usually, such control rods are made up of boron or cadmium. To increase the rate of fission reaction, these rods can be removed from the moderator. A steady flow of energy can be maintained by inserting or removing control rods in the nuclear reactor. Now we know the components of nuclear reactor. Let us understand the working of nuclear reactor. It usually enclosed in a shield made up of thick concrete walls. It consists of a reactor core, pump, and heat exchanger. The reactor core and pump are placed in a contact with wire, which is usually used as a heat exchanger in this reactor. During the enormous heat release in a fission reaction, the surrounding water gets heated up and converted it into a steam, which in turn used to turn the turbines. So in this way, the heat energy gets converted into nuclear energy. Water is continuously flown in and out of the nuclear reactor using the pump. So a nuclear reactor successfully regenerates nuclear energy from